Hello everyone, I Dr. Smita Rani Bhardia will discuss here about the lecture number 30 Physical and Chemical Hazards. It is part of module 9. What is the chemical hazards? Chemical hazards refer to substances that can cause harm or damage to living organisms, properties or the environments due to their chemical properties. These hazards can be categorized into several types. First is flammable substances. Flammable substances are the material that have the potential to ignite and burn easily when exposed to an open flame, heat source, or even a spark. These substances release flammable vapors or gases that can ignite under the specific conditions, posing significant fire and explosion risk. Understanding flammable material is a crucial part for workplace safety and prevention of accidents. What are the examples of flammable substances? First one is gasoline. It is a vapor can quickly ignite and lead to fire or explosion if not handled properly. Second one is alcohol. Ethanol and methanol are used in various industries, even in home. Third one is acetone. Acetone is a highly flammable solvent used in various industries, including paint, nail polish remover. Its vapor are easily ignited. Fourth one is propane. Propane is a commonly used fuel for heating, cooking and powering vehicles. It is stored under the pressure and can pose explosion risk if not handled correctly. Fifth one is hydrogen. Hydrogen is highly flammable and can ignite with just a spark. It is used in various industries process, including in the production of ammonia as a fuel sources for certain vehicles. What are the safety measures for flammable substances? First one is proper storage. Flammable substances should be stored in designated area and away from heat source, open flames and ignition sources. Storage area should be well ventilated and equipped with fire extinguishing equipments. Second one is flame arrestors. Installed flame arrestors on containers and store tank to prevent flames or a spark from entering and causing explosion. Third one is labeling. Clearly label containers with the appropriate flammable hazard symbols and warnings. This helps workers identify and handle these materials safely. Fourth one is grounding and bonding. Use grounding and bonding techniques when transferring flammable liquids to prevent static electricity sparks. Fifth one is no smoke zone. Stabilize and enforce no smoke zone in areas where flammable materials are present. Sixth one is ventilation. Ensure good ventilation in areas where flammable vapors may accumulate to purge the gases and reduce the risk of ignitions. 7 one is personal protective equipment. Provide workers and appropriate PPE such as flame resistance clothing, safety goggles and gloves when handling flammable substances. The other one is fire safety equipment. Keep fire extinguishers, fire blankets and other firefighting equipments readily available and regularly maintained. 9 is training. Train the employees on the safe handling, storage and disposal of flammable substances. Conduct emergency drills to ensure everyone knows how to respond in the case of fire or explosions. 10th is regulatory compliances. Comply with the local, state and national regulations governing the storage and handling of flammable materials. Next one is emergency response plan. Emergency response plan for dealing with fires or spills involving flammable substances. The main category is second, explosive materials. Explosive materials are the substances or the device that contain a significant amount of stored energy that can be readily released in the form of a violent explosions. These materials are characterized by their ability to produce a sudden burst of high pressure gas, heat and shock waves when ignited or triggered, resulting in damage, injury, or the destruction. Explosive materials are used in various applications, including mining, construction, defense, and firework, but they also pose seriously safety risk when mishandled. What are the examples of these explosive materials? First is TNT, trinitrotoluene. TNT is a widely known as explosive used in military application, mining and demolition. It is stable under normal condition but can detonate when subjected to a shock, spark or high temperature source. Second one is dynamite. Dynamite is a commercially explosive made by combining nitroglycerin with an absorbent material. It is often used in construction, mining and controlled demolition. Third is composition C4. C4 is a plastic explosive used by military and law enforcement agencies. It is highly stable and can be molded into various shapes. Other one is ammonium nitrate. Ammonium nitrate is used in fertilizer production but can also be used as an explosive when mixed with fuel oil, ANFO. The Oklahoma City bombing in 1995 involved the use of ANFO, detonator and blasting caps. These small devices contain sensitive explosive and are used in ignited larger explosive charges. Safety measure for explosive materials. First, storage. Explosive materials should be stored in secure, specialized, magnized or container designed to withstand fires and unauthorized access handling. Trained and authorized personnel should handle explosive materials. Workers should follow strict safety protocol, including wearing appropriate PPEs. Next one is transportation. When transporting explosive materials, comply with regulations and use specialized vehicles that meet safety standards. Fourth one is detonation. Explosive materials should only be detonated by qualified and authorized personnel following stabilized safety procedures. Storage compatibility. Store explosive materials away from incompatible substances that could react dangerously. Static electricity control. Prevent static electricity buildup during handling and transfer by using grounding and bonding techniques. 7 is inspection and maintenance. Regularly inspect and maintain the explosive storage facility and equipment to ensure their integrity. 8 is security. Implement strict access control and security measures to prevent theft, vandalism, or unauthorized access to explosive materials. 9 is emergency response. Develop and practice emergency response plan and accidents or the incidents involving explosion material. This should include evacuation procedures and first aid. Next one is training. Provide comprehensive training for personnel on the safe handling, storage and transportation of explosive materials. Training should include hazard recognition and emergency response. Other one is regulatory compliances. Comply with all local, state and federal regulations governing the use, storage and transportation of explosive materials. Explosive materials demands meticulous handling, strict adherence or safety protocols and a thorough understanding of their properties and risk. Failures to follow safety measures can lead to catastrophic accident and several consequences, making safety paramount when dealing with explosive. The third and main category is corrosive substances. Corrosive substances are chemicals that can cause several damage to living tissues, materials, and the environment through a chemical reaction known as corrosion. This reaction often involves the degradation or breakdown of materials due to the correct corrosive substances' chemical properties. Corrosive substances are typically acid, base with low or high pH level respectively. Some examples of corrosive substances are sulfuric acid, hydrochloric acid, sodium hydroxide, nitric acid, phosphoric acid. Characteristics and hazards of corrosive chemicals. Corrosive substances can cause several burns to the skin and eye upon contact. They can also damage or erode material like metal, concrete, and plastic. Corrosive substances may produce toxic fumes or gases when they react with other substances, posing additional health risk. What are the safety measures? First, PPE. Wear appropriate PPE including gloves, goggles, face shield and lab coat when handling with corrosive materials. Ventilation. Work in a well ventilated area or the under fume hood to prevent the buildup of corrosive fumes. Storage. Storage corrosive substances in designated areas, preferably in acid resistance containers and away from the incompatible materials. Dilutions. When diluting corrosive substances, always add the acid or base to water, not the other way around, to prevent splatting and heat generation. Emergency equipment. Maintain easy access to emergency eye wash stations, safety showers, and spill kits in case of accidents. Neutralization. Know how to neutralize spills or accidental contact with suitable neutralizing agents such as baking soda or vinegar. Baking soda is used for acid and vinegar will be used for base. Training. Ensure that the personnel are adequately trained in handling corrosive substances and understand the associated risk and safety protocols. Other one is, as usual, first aid. Have a first aid and a plan in place for immediate treatment or skin or eyes contact with corrosive substances. Remember, the handling and storage of corrosive substances required utmost caution and adherence to safety protocols to prevent injuries and environment damage. Always consult safety data sheet and follow the manufacturer's instruction when working with corrosive chemicals. Fourth one is toxic or poisonous chemicals. Toxic or poisonous chemicals are the substances that can cause harms, illness, or the death when they come into contact with living organisms, including human, animals, or the plant. These chemicals may have harmful effect upon the ignition, inhalation, or skin contact, and they vary in toxicity level, with some being highly toxic even in a small quantity. What are the examples of toxic chemicals? Mainly toxic chemicals includes heavy metal like lead, mercury, pesticide used in agriculture, industrial chemicals like asbestos and benzene, and certain pharmaceuticals drug when misused. The effect of exposure to toxic chemicals can range from minor irritation and allergic reaction to several illness, organ damage, or fetal poisoning. The fifth one is irritant chemicals. Irritant chemicals are the substance that can cause irritation or the inflammation when they come into contact with living tissue such as skin, eyes, respiratory system, respiratory tract, gastrointestinal system. Unlike heavy toxic or corrosive chemicals, Irritant chemicals typically do not cause several harm or permanent damage, but can cause a discomfortable itching, redness, or mild inflammation. Example of irritant chemicals include household cleaning products, some cosmetics, ammonia, bleach, and certain industrial chemicals. Allergenic chemicals. Allergenic chemicals often referred to as allergies are substances that can trigger an allergic reaction in some individuals who are hypersensitive or allergic to them. Allergic reaction vary in severity but can include symptoms such as skin rashes, itching, sneezing, nasal congestion, asthma, or in several causes. What is physical hazards? Physical hazards often to factors or conditions in the workplace environment that can cause harm, injury, or damage to pupil property or the environmental through physical means or the inherent characteristic of the materials or process involved. These hazards do not involve chemical or biological substances but rather the physical properties or the condition that can lead to accidents or harms. Physical hazards encompasses a wide range of potential danger and include elements such as first is mechanical hazard. Mechanical hazards are the workplace dangers that arises from the mechanical aspect of machinery, equipment, tools or the processes. These hazards result from moving part equipment, malfunction or the potential for the physical contact with machinery and they can lead to serious injuries or the accident if proper precautions are not taken. Examples of machinery hazard and associated safeties. First is moving machinery part. Machinery often involve components with moving parts such as gears, belt, blades and the conveyor belts. These moving parts can cause the injuries including amputations if workers come contact with them. What are the safety measures? Use machine guards and safety interlocks to prevent access to moving parts during operations. Train workers on the proper use of machinery and the importance of styling clear of moving parts. High voltage projectiles. Equipment like grinder, saws and presses can eject particles or objects at high speeds, posing risk to nearby workers. What is the safety measures? Ensure that the use of safety shield, protective barriers and eye protection to prevent injuries from flying debris or the projectiles. Heavy machinery and equipment. Heavy machinery such as cranes, forklifts and bulldozers can cause several injuries or fatalities in accidents like rollovers or collisions. What is the safety measure for it? Implement strict protocol for equipment operations including operator training, regular equipment maintenance, stabilizing traffic control measures and pedestrian safety zones in areas where heavy machinery operates. Equipment manufacturers. Mechanical equipment can manufacture leading to unexpected movement or failure which may result in accidents. What is the safety measures? Perform routine equipment inspection and maintenance to identify and address potential manufacturers before they cause accident. Implements a reporting system for workers to report equipment issue promptly. Hands and power tools. Hand and power tools such as saws, drills and nail guns can cause injuries through misuse, improper maintenance or the defects. What are the safety measures for it? Train workers on the proper use and maintenance of tools, provide appropriate personal protective equipment for tool operating such as safety goggles and gloves, ensuring the safety of workers around mechanical hazards involving a combination of engineering control, example machine guard, administrative control, example training and procedure, and the use of personal protective equipment, regular risk assessment, ongoing safety training, and a strong safety culture within the workplace are essential for prevent accident related to machinery hazard. Second one in this category is electrical hazard. Refer to potential danger and risk associated with the use of handling and exposed to electricity and electrical equipment. This hazard arises from the presence of electrical energy which can cause electric shock, fire, explosion, and other serious injuries or damage to properties. Electrical hazards are prevented in various settings, including homes, workplace, and industrial facilities. What are the key aspects of electrical hazards? First is electric shock. Electric shock occurs when the human body becomes a part of electrical circuit, typically due to contact with energized conductors or the equipment. Electric shock can range from mild discomfortable to severe injuries or even death, depending on the voltage, current, and duration of the exposure. Second one is burn and tissue damage. Electric current passes through the body can cause burn, tissue damage, and internal injuries. The severity of these injuries depend on the factor like voltage, current, and the pathway of electric flow. Third is fire and explosion. Electrical faults, short circuits, or the overheating can lead to fire or the explosion, especially in electrical equipment, wiring, and installation. These incidents can cause significant property damage and pose risk to life and safety. Fourth one is arc flash and arc blast. High energy electrical fault can produce intense light, heat, and pressure, resulting in arc flashes and arc blast. These phenomena can cause severe burn, blindness, or other injuries to workers near the fault. Other one is equipment damage, indirect hazards, and other. To mitigate the electrical hazard and ensuring the safety, it is potential to follow the safety procedures. What are the safety procedures? Adhere to stabilized electrical safety procedure including lockout, tag out procedures during maintenance or repair work. Inspect and maintain equipment. Regularly inspect electric equipment, wiring, and system to identify and address issues like loose connection, damaged insulation, or overheating. Use of appropriate PPE. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment such as insulating gloves, safety goggles, and flame resistant clothing when working near electrical hazard area. Training and education. Ensure that the individual worker with around the electricity receive proper training and education on electric safety practices. Hazard identification. Identify and label the electrical hazard, install warning sign, and implement safety protocols to prevent unauthorized access to electric equipment. Compliances with code and standards. Comply with local, national, and industry specific electric codes and standard to ensure safety electrical installation and practices. Addressing electrical hazards is critical to safeguarding and the well-being of individuals and protecting properties. Proper electric safety measures reduces the risk of accident and injuries associated with the electricity. Other and second one is thermal hazard. Refer to potential damage and risk associated with the extreme temperature, both high and low, in the workplace or the environment. These hazards can cause harm to individual equipment and property and often result from exposure to excessive heat or cold. Thermal hazard can lead to various health issues including burns, heat stress, hypothermia and frostable depend on the temperature extremes and the duration of exposures. Heat hazard, cold hazard, burn, heat stress, hypothermia, frostable. These to mitigate thermal hazards and ensure safety. It is essential to monitor temperature, emerging control, implement uh, engineering controls such as insulation, ventilation and temperature control system to minimize exposure to extreme temperatures. Other one is protective clothing, hydration, break and rest and training. Addressing thermal hazards is vital to ensure that the safety and well-being of individual workers in environment with extreme temperature and to protecting them from the associated health risks and injuries. The third one is radiation hazard. Radiation hazard certain to potential danger arising from the exposure to various forms of radiation including ionizing and non-ionizing radiation. Ionizing radiation such as X-ray and gamma rays has enough energy to ionize atoms and molecules, potentially damaging DNA and increase the risk of cancer. Non-ionizing radiations like ultraviolet rays and radio frequency waves doesn't have enough energy to ionize atom but still can cause harm by generating heat leading to burn or other adverse health effect. Workers in industries like healthcare, nuclear energy and telecommunication may face radiation hazard, necessitating stringent safe measure, shielding, personal protective equipment and strict adherence to exposure limit to mitigate the risk associated with ionizing and non-ionizing radiations. Other is noise hazards. Noise hazard to refer the potential damage and risk associated with the exposed to high level of noise in various environments including workplace and public spaces. Prolonged or excessive exposure to noise can lead a range of adverse effects including hearing loss and ringing in the ears, stress sleep disturbance and communication difficulties. Noise hazard often arises from the industrial machinery, constructions, activity, transportation and the other source of loud sound. To mitigate noise hazard, organizations implement engineering controls such as sound barrier and mufflers, provide personal protective equipment like earplug and ear muffles and stabilize a noise reduction protocol to protect workers and the public from the harmful effect of excessive noise. Additionally, regular hearing, conversation program and noise monitoring are essential component of noise hazards management. What is the example? As I told you, loud machinery and power tools. Ergonomic hazard. Ergonomic hazard refers to risk and damage that result from poor workplace ergonomics and the improper design of workspace, tools, equipment and tasks. These hazards can lead to these hazard can lead to musculoskeletal disorder and various physical and physiological health problems for workers. Common ergonomics hazard including awkward posture, repetitive motions, excessive force, and prolonged sitting or the standing, and insufficient reset or recovery period. When workers are exposed to these conditions over time, they may experience issues like back pain, carpal tunnel syndrome, tendonitis, and eye strain. To address ergonomics hazards, employees often conduct ergonomic assessment, redesign workspace and equipment, provide ergonomics trainings, and encourage frequently break and proper posture to improve workers' comfort and reduce the risk of injuries and health problems associated with poor ergonomics. What are the examples? Poorly designed workstation, repetitive tasks. What are the safety measures? Design ergonomics workstation, provide ergonomics training, and encourage proper posture and movement. Biological hazard. Biological hazard are the risk and dangers associated with exposure to biological agents that can harm human health. These hazards can include microorganisms such as bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites, as well as the biological toxic and allergies. The example of biological hazards are pathogenic bacteria, viruses. What are the safety measures? Implement hygiene protocols, provide vaccination where the applicable, and use of appropriate protective gears in healthcare and laboratory settings. Fifth one is psychosocial hazard. Psychosocial hazard refers to the risk and danger in the workplace environment that stem from the social and psychological aspect of workers. These hazards can have adverse effect on employees' mental and emotional well-being. Example of psychosocial hazards including excessive workload, workplace bullying, and job insecurity, long working hour, lack of work-life balance, and exposure to traumatic events. Examples are stress, workplace bullying, long working hours. What are the safety measures? Promote a healthy work-life balance, addresses workplace conflict, and provide mental health support. It's crucial to identify the mitigate both chemical and physical hazard in workplace. In the conclusion, physical and chemical hazards prevent significant risk in various workplace and environmental settings, necessitating careful management and mitigation strategies to ensure the safety and well-being of individuals and the protection of property and the environment. Physical hazard encompasses a wide range of danger including mechanical hazard, electrical hazard, thermal hazard, noise hazard, ergonomics hazard, and more. These hazards can lead to various injuries from burn to electric shock to musculoskeletal disorders and hearing losses. The key to addressing physical hazard lies in identifying them, implementing appropriate safety measures, and providing proper training and personal protective equipment to minimize the risk. Chemical hazard involving the presence of exposure to potentially harmful substances that can cause acute or chronic health problems, fires, or explosions. These hazards include flammable substances, corrosive substances, toxic or poisonous chemical, allergic substances, and many more. Managing chemical hazard required strict adherence to safety protocol, proper storage and handling training, and regulatory compliances in both cases. The protective hazards identification, risk assessment, and the maintenance of safety measures are essential. WorkSafe safety program, employee training, safety equipment, and regulatory compliances play the critical role in mitigating physical and chemical hazards. By prioritizing safety, organization can create environment where employees can work effectively and confidently, knowing that their health and well-being are protected. In our next lecture, we will discuss about the first step. Thank you. Thank you so much.